Today, we're taking a full deep dive into Columbina, the upcoming 5-star Hydro Catalyst user from Nodcry. Her entire kit revolves around a brand new mechanic called lunar reactions, which convert regular elemental reactions into stronger, HP scaling variations. She plays nothing like a traditional Hydro unit. Instead, she acts as a reaction amplifier, field controller, and HP-based damage dealer all at once. In this breakdown, I'll walk you through every part of her kit in a clear and simple way, starting with her normal and charged attacks, then her elemental skill, burst, passives, constellations, and finally her signature weapon. By the end, you'll understand exactly how Columbina works, how her numbers scale, and why her design is completely different from anything we've had in Genshin so far. Start with the basics: her normal attack chain, charged attack behavior, and plunge numbers. Everything is pretty straightforward, but watch out for the special charged variant that depends on Verdant Dew. It changes her whole charged attack playstyle. Normal attack: Moonlit Tides. She summons Moonlit Tides and has a 3-hit normal chain. The damage numbers shown are percent multipliers of her attack, standard for normal attacks in the game. 1 hit equals 84.23%. 2 hit equals 65.93%. 3 hit equals 105.27%. These are the raw normal hit multipliers you'll see when she's swinging on field. Charged attack. Base charged attack is 208.94% damage and costs 50 stamina. But here's the important part: if you have at least one Verdant Dew, Columbina's charged attack is replaced with a special move called Moondew Cleanse. That special charged attack does 3 instances of AoE Dendro damage. Each instance is listed as Verdant Dew charged attack damage equals 2.27% max HP x 3, so it scales off max HP, not attack. That Dendro damage counts as Lunar Bloom damage. We'll explain lunar reactions in the passive section. In practice, that means, if you build HP on her, those Verdant Dew charged swings get stronger. Note: she deals Dendro damage in her charge attack. This is not a mistake from our end. This is how it's described in leaks. Plunging attack. Plain plunge hit is 112.34%. Low/high plunge area damage is 224.62%/280.57% respectively. Now the elemental skill, Eternal Tides. This is central to her kit. It's not a single burst. It summons a thing called Gravity Ripple that follows the active character and constantly deals Hydro AoE. While it's active, it accumulates a hidden resource for Columbina called Gravity based on lunar reactions you or your teammates trigger. When Gravity reaches a threshold, it triggers Kavaki Interference, a follow-up effect that deals different types of lunar reaction damage depending on which reaction has the most gravity. So skill is a long-lasting field that both deals Hydro damage and sets up the lunar reaction system. Numbers scaling. Skill damage. Initial hit 30.1% max HP. This initial skill scales off Columbina's max HP. Moonreel continuous damage. The follow-up ticks from Gravity Ripple 16.85% max HP per tick, also HP scaling. Moonreel lunar crystallized damage. 18.75% max HP when it releases lunar crystallized damage. Max Moonreel charge, 60. This is likely the internal counter/energy measure for how much gravity or charges it can hold. Moonreel duration, 25 seconds. It lasts a long time on field. CD, 17 seconds, reasonable cooldown given the duration. Her skill is a persistent HP scaling Hydro field. The damage ticks are based on her max HP, so building HP directly increases skill's damage and the power of the lunar reaction output tied to it. Because it tracks the active character, it works well with switching and reaction play. The cooldown versus duration means you can keep the skill up frequently. Let's move on to her elemental burst is Moonlit Melancholy. It temporarily changes the surrounding area into a lunar domain and directly increases lunar reaction damage while active. It's the big domain mechanic that turns the battlefield into her playground for lunar reactions. Numbers scaling. Burst skill damage, 58.03% max HP. The burst damage itself scales off max HP. Lunar reaction damage bonus. plus 40.0%. While the domain is active, lunar reactions get a 40% damage bonus. This appears to be a flat bonus applied to lunar reaction damage. Domain duration: 20 seconds, a long domain window. CD: 15 seconds, short for a burst with such a duration, which implies you can almost keep it up frequently if you manage energy. Energy cost: 60, standardish cost for a powerful burst. Explain impact. Bottom line: burst is an HP scaling burst that sets up a lunar domain for 20 seconds and makes all lunar reaction damage inside it much stronger. Between skill and burst, Columbina is a standing field, reaction-heavy catalyst that rewards max HP investment. Next is passive talents. These explain how the lunar system actually triggers and what bonuses Columbina and your party get. I'll break them down one by one and give a practical playstyle tip for each. 1. Call of the Moon. Effect: when Kavaki interference is triggered, that's the big release when gravity fills, Columbina gains lunacy, which gives plus 8% crit rate for 10 seconds, stackable up to 3 times. Practical: that's up to plus 24% crit rate for Columbina if you trigger 3 times, great for her own damage windows, and helps the party when she's dealing lunar reaction damage. 2. Law of the New Moon. Effect: this is a party-wide buff while the lunar domain is active that tweaks what other characters get when they trigger different lunar reaction types. Lunar charged: thundercloud attack interval reduced by 0.5 seconds, faster thundercloud ticks. Lunar bloom: when you trigger lunar bloom, the party gains Moonridge dues, special resource. Up to 3 Moonridge dues can be gained every 18th. Lunar crystallize: when Moondrift harmony, their unique crystallize-like thing, is triggered, each Moondrift has a 33% chance to inflict an extra attack. Practical: this makes the whole team benefit from playing in the lunar domain, faster thunderclouds, extra dues for verdant/charged plays, and extra procs on crystallize-style shields. Build a team that frequently procs these reactions and you'll stack party-wide utility. 3. Moonsign benediction. Borrowed moonlight. Effect: when a party member triggers electrocharged, bloom, or hydrocrystallize, it's converted into lunar charged, lunar bloom, or lunar crystallize instead. Lunar reaction damage dealt by party members gets a base DMG increase depending on Columbina's max HP. For every 1000 max HP, lunar reaction base DMG plus 0.2%, up to plus 7% max. Also, if Columbina is in the party's moon sign level increases by +1. This is likely an internal level buff to lunar effects. Practical: this is huge. It converts common reactions to stronger lunar ones and buffs their damage based on her max HP. So building max HP on Columbina benefits the entire team's lunar reaction damage. 4. Passive 4. Open World Revive. Effect: while in the open world of Nodcry, if an active character dies, the damselette will revive them and restore HP based on Columbina's friendship level. Can trigger once every 100s. Practical: nice convenience passive for exploration, don't rely on it for tough domain fights, but it's a quality of life revive out in the world. Wrap up passives. The theme here is obvious. Columbina converts reactions into lunar versions and makes them better, with almost all of her scaling and upgrades tied to max HP. She is not an attack-based catalyst, she's an HP-centric support/damage amplifier for reactions. Constellations massively deepen her kit, some are defensive, some buff team stats, and some straight-up increase lunar reaction power. Quick breakdown. C1 Radiance over Blossoms and Peaks. When you pop the burst, it immediately triggers an effect equivalent to Kavaki interference. If no gravity has been gained, it counts as having max gravity. Moonsign, Ascendant Gleam, on interference, depending on which lunar reaction has the most gravity. Lunar Charged, active character recovers 6 energy. Lunar Bloom, active character gets increased interruption resistance for 8s. Lunar Crystallize, summons a Rain Sea Shield. Shield HP equals 12% of Columbina's max HP and absorbs hydro damage at 250% effectiveness for 8s. Practical: C1 adds immediate utility on burst, energy, or a strong shield or interruption resistance, depending on playstyle. C2, not in lone splendor. Gravity accumulation rate plus 34%, so you fill gravity faster. When interference triggers, Columbina gets Lunar Brilliance, plus 30% max HP for 8s, huge temporary HP spike. Mood sign, Ascendant Gleam during Lunar Brilliance, depending on dominant lunar type. Lunar Charged, party's current active gets ATK equals 0.7% of Columbina's max HP. Lunar Bloom, current active's elemental mastery increases by 0.35% of Columbina's max HP. Lunar Crystallize, current active's def increases by 0.7% of Columbina's max HP. Practical, C2 turns her max HP into direct buff stats for teammates, synergy-driven. C3, Dreamlike Glow across tranquil waters. Plus 3 levels to elemental skill. E, max level cap applies, max 15. Straightforward DPS bump. C4, Cloud-Veiled Ridges in Floral Mists. When interference triggers, restore 4 energy to Columbina. Additionally, if a particular lunar reaction dominated gravity at trigger, the current interference will deal extra lunar reaction DMG equal to a percent of her max HP, Lunar Charged plus 12.5% HP, Lunar Bloom plus 2.5% HP, Lunar Crystallize plus 12.5% HP. Can trigger once every 15ths. Practical, huge boost to the lunar reaction damage and energy return helps with uptime. C5 Silence, Tending One Lone Song. Plus 3 levels to burst, Q, more power and lunar domain duration / effect scaling. C6 Through Darkness, led by Moonlight. For 8s after characters in the lunar domain trigger a lunar reaction, the crit DMG of the corresponding elemental DMG is increased by 80%. These effect stacks for different elements do not stack for the same element. Practical, this is wild, temporary near double crit DMG for the element you reacted with. On the right team, this creates huge windows of damage for the reaction element. Constellation Summary, C1/C4 give on-demand shields, energy, and extra lunar damage. C2 turns her HP into team stat buffs. C3/C5 are raw talent levels. C6 is insane for turning lunar reaction bursts into big crit windows. If you wail for her, the constellations turbocharge the lunar reaction concept. Finally, her signature catalyst Nocturne of the Hidden Veil. Basic numbers you should know. Base ATK, 542. Crit DMG, 88.2%. Weapon passive, Ballad of the Crossroads. Increases max HP by 10%. This synergizes perfectly with Columbina's HP scaling. When the wielder triggers a lunar reaction or deals lunar reaction damage, they restore 12 energy and gain a buff called Wine of the Bountiful Sea for 12s, which does plus 14% max HP on top of the weapon's 10%. This stacks multiplicatively or additively depending on game rules. Plus 60% crit DMG for lunar reaction damage specifically. Energy restore can happen once every 18ths, and it still triggers while the wielder is off-field. Practical take. This weapon is basically made for Columbina. It gives flat max HP, and then on lunar reaction triggers gives more max HP and a massive lunar reaction crit DMG buff plus energy back. Equip this, and you dramatically raise the power of everything Columbina does, her E, Q, Verdant do charged attacks, and the party's lunar reaction damage all get stronger. The energy return also helps sustain burst uptime. That's the full kit, normals and charged behavior, E, Q, passives, constellations, and her signature catalyst. In short, Columbina is an HP scaling, lunar reaction catalyst who converts normal reactions into stronger lunar versions and buffs team damage through her max HP. If you want reaction-heavy team play and to buff your whole squad's lunar damage, she's a very interesting pick. If you want, I can make a separate video with best artifact sets, weapon alternatives, and 4 best team comps for Columbina, including exact artifact stat rolls and sample rotations. Drop a comment which you want first, team comps or artifacts/weapon guide. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next leak breakdown. Peace.